Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Bekah and this is Bekah's Bookshelves. Today's video is my August TBR and I'm going to have to start this video by apologising in advance for any shouting, banging, crying, anything. It's the school holidays and my children are at home and they have no idea at all how to be quiet. So that being said, July did not go very well or to plan, so there may be a couple of these books that you recognise from my July TBR. And the first one is Will Wazzy by Max Brooks. This is an infamous Zompok. It's so well known within that genre and I have had it on my TBR forever. And I was just so excited to get to read it, and I just didn't even get to pick it up, never mind read the whole thing. So yeah, that is going to be carried over into August. I did have sort of like my own mini kind of goal to read 4 of these physical books off my shelves every month, and this month it's just not going to happen. I do reviews of books via NetGalley and I've just got so many this month that I really need to get through those. That my own books are just going to have to wait a bit longer. Some of them have been waiting a few years, so I'm sure another month is fine. And so the second book that I'm carrying over this month is Secrets of a Serial Killer by Rosie Walker. This is obviously about a serial killer. But what happens is that the town that he's committing crimes in at the moment in time in the book, they kind of realise that he seems to have been committing crimes for much longer than would be biologically possible, as in because of his age and physical abilities. So then there's kind of theories that maybe he is teaching other people how to kill in the way that he does. He's passing down his kind of skills. And again, I didn't even get to start that one in July, so that will be one of the first books that I read for August. And next up is The Apocalypse Strain by Jason Parent. Now this is one of those classic virus outbreak thriller type novels. Basically there's a medical research team who are trying to discover ways to help people who suffer from MS, and as part of their studies they come across like an ancient Pandora virus and they're trying to figure out if there's a way they can kind of manipulate it or change it to help their research. But what they discover is that actually it's, you know, a really dangerous virus, and if it gets into the wrong hands then, you know, we're all screwed. And so they're trying to contain things, but they discover the virus has just got a mind of its own and it's changing and spreading faster than they can deal with. Now it doesn't tell you what kind of results or outcome or effects the virus has. It doesn't explain what the dangerousness of it is, so I guess that's something we have to find out as we read the book. And then the next one is Playing Nice by J.P. Delaney. I haven't read any of this author's work before, but they are usually quite well rated. Basically this one it's a parent's worst nightmare. 2 boys are born at the same time in a hospital. Somehow these babies get mixed up, and 2 years down the line the parents discover that the children that they have been raising for the last 2 years aren't the biological child. And then, you know, they kind of come together and try and figure out a way to like put their families together to create something unconventional, but so that, you know, the children are with the biological families but are also in contact with the families that raise them. But then there is something underlying about secrets and something sinister that was happening the night the boys were switched, and about how far families will go to keep their secrets safe. The next book that I'll be reading this month is I Am Change by Susie Zale. This is, I think it sounds sort of like a coming of age type book, but it's based in Uganda. So in this village in Uganda, the girls are all raised to believe that their bodies belong to the men, and they just shouldn't have a mind, basically. They don't need to think. They just follow what the husbands, fathers, brothers tell them to do. And so this young girl, who is the main character, I can't remember her name, to be honest. She is more strong-minded. She wants to decide what happens to her body. She wants to decide who she marries, if she marries at all. And she wants to get an education. She is actually more clever than her brother. So yeah, I'm honestly not sure what to think about that one. It just sounds quite interesting, but I'm slightly worried it may go a little over my head, as sometimes these kind of literary cultural stuff type things do. But yeah, I am looking forward to giving it a try and seeing if I enjoy it. And then the next one I'm going to read is Back Within My Arena. So it's one that I'm more confident about, and that is The Subjects by Sarah Hopkins. So this basically is that juvenile delinquents, people who are, taken to court as teenagers for crimes, some of them seem to be offered an alternative to jail, and that alternative, they're not quite sure what it is at first, but it's not jail and it's not a psychiatric unit, and they don't seem to be locked in, but there are experiments going on, and these teenagers are all sort of gifted in some way. Now, I'm not sure if this gets a little sci-fi or paranormal, no idea. It doesn't mention anything about what the point of these experiments might be, and actually part of me is now wondering if it's going to be along similar lines of The Institute by Stephen King. But yeah, it sounds quite interesting, so yeah, I'm going to enjoy reading that, hopefully. Next up is The Treatment by Sally J. Roberts. Now, this is a medical memoir, or should I say a memoir of a parent that is regarding a medical issue with their child. Basically, in 2013, the author Sally, her son Neon, was very unwell, and she was fighting and fighting to get the right treatment for him. She actually heard about trials and things being done with proton beam therapy, and so she was fighting to get her child access to that kind of treatment. Unfortunately, the medical world at the time, who had responsibility for the care of her son, did not believe or did not think that proton beam therapy was anything to be, raved about. So they ended up taking things to court, and unfortunately Sally had all her parental rights removed. So that meant then that she had no decisions, she didn't need to be told anything about her son's medical care, and basically the doctors, they could make the decision for the child without her consent or her involvement, and they did not proceed with any kind of proton beam therapy. I'm not 100% sure if her son passed away. I haven't got into the book yet or researched it very well, but I would possibly imagine so. And the horrendous thing is that just a few years later, proton beam therapy was actually being advocated as the go-to treatment for that illness, and for other similar problems. And even the doctors who had worked on her son's case, when they kind of went back and reviewed things, they realised that actually their opinions were completely incorrect the first time round, and that the medical views on proton beam therapy had completely changed, and now they would have let her son have that treatment without any issue. And so she kind of has written this heartbreaking memoir of the difficulties that she had and the law, the law surrounding parental responsibility and rights regarding medical treatment. So I have a feeling that's going to be quite a difficult read, and very, very interesting and eye-opening. And to jump back into the world of virus outbreaks again, I will be reading The Cure by Glenn Cooper. This is another medical research type novel where, you know, there's a team trying to find a cure for something. This time it's Alzheimer's. But what they end up doing is creating a virus that completely wipes people's memories. And as you can imagine, you know, as society is crumbling because everybody's suddenly losing all the memories and are in this total state of amnesia. And so there's a scientist who isn't affected for some reason, and it becomes like a kind of a race against time for him to discover the cure. And this sounds like it's going to be really fast-paced and action-packed, and like just really exciting and a bit of on the edge of your seat kind of thing. So I'm really looking forward to that one. And the final book that I'm actually going to physically read this month is My Final Breath by Paige Darth. And I wasn't sure if this was like YA or teen or adult, although it is described as a suspenseful psychological thriller, so it's possibly adult. And basically there's a 12-year-old girl, Molly. She dies and she reawakens in the spirit world. She discovers from her guardian that everything she knew about her life and death is just lies. That she was unwell for quite a long time prior to dying. She was in and out of hospital and very unwell. But it turns out that there are other children suffering from unexplained illnesses that she's then trying to somehow intervene from the spirit world to stop happening. So to me, it kind of sounds like there's been something where a parent or a guardian is inducing factitious illnesses within the child. I'm not obviously sure if that's the case, but it does sound like that. And I think it's going to be one of those books where it could either be done very well or it could be a bit crappy. But I'm excited to find out which one it is. So those are the 9 books that I'm going to be reading this month. And if you've seen any of my TBR videos before, you'll know that the 9 is a relatively small number compared to what I normally plan for a month. But I'm just kind of basing things off how the latter part of July went and trying to give myself a bit of an easier time, less pressure, because my brain just is not keeping up at the moment. But yeah, I'm gonna see how August goes. Hopefully it goes better than planned and I do get to come down here and just pick something off the shelves and enjoy that kind of mood read, but we'll see. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and I'll see you all later. Bye.